By preventing a commercial radio station from providing its media services on a radio frequency, Hungary has infringed EU law. This was the ruling today of the Grand Chamber of the Court of Justice. The facts of the case are as follows. Klubrádió is a Hungarian commercial radio station that had been broadcasting on radio frequencies since 1999. In 2014, it signed a contract with the Hungarian Media Council, the Media Tanács, to use a specific frequency in the Budapest broadcasting area. After an initial period of 7 years, the Media Council refused to renew the contract. In its view, Klubrádió had twice failed to comply with its obligation to provide monthly information on broadcasting quotas. However, under Hungarian media law, a repeated infringement automatically leads to a refusal to renew the contract. The Media Council then published a call for tenders to allocate the frequency in question. Klubrádió submitted a bid, but it was declared invalid because of certain errors in the programming schedule and because the radio station had negative equity in its accounts over the previous 5 years. In those circumstances, the Commission brought an action against Hungary before the court for failure to fulfill Hungary's obligations under EU law. The court emphasizes that European legislation requires that the rights to use radio frequencies be allocated on the basis of objective, transparent, non-discriminatory and proportionate criteria. In particular, the court finds that the Hungarian media law fails to comply with the principle of proportionality by automatically excluding the renewal of radio frequency usage rights in the event of repeated infringements, even where these infringements are minor, purely formal, and have already been sanctioned and corrected. Furthermore, the court found that the decision to invalidate Klubrádió's bid was contrary to the principle of transparency, as the call for tenders did not include any requirements regarding the financial standing of the candidates. This decision was also disproportionate because, on the one hand, the errors concerning the programming schedule were minor and should have been capable of correction, and on the other, where the financial viability of the candidate is not in doubt, a ground for invalidity based on the negative nature of its own funds goes beyond what is necessary to ensure the stability of a radio station. Finally, the court ruled that as a result of the Hungarian media law, the refusal to renew Klubrádió's license and the invalidity of its bid in the tender for the allocation of the frequency in question, Hungary had violated the freedom of expression and information enshrined in Article 11 of the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union. According to the court, any national measure limiting or restricting broadcasters' access to radio frequencies is likely to interfere with their right to freedom of the media in conjunction with freedom of broadcasting. The court notes in this regard that the infringements and the failures alleged against Klubrádió in this case relate either to minor formal inaccuracies or to aspects which, as such, should not make it impossible for a radio station to continue its broadcasting activities.